We all have the ability to create our lives, but when it comes to the way we die, is it really up to us? Hey guys, it's John here in my studio on an overcast day. I definitely need to cut my grass. Looking high out there. But drinking my coffee, enjoying my morning with you. I wanted to hop on and talk about this concept. I got someone who asked me a question the other day about, do we control the way we die or choose the way we die? And this comes down to a very bigger concept of free will. And are we the creator of our experience? You know, people will often ask me about, the pre-pan life and the soul contracts and all that. And my firm belief is that we have free will in all aspects. The Bible says whatever you ask is granted. Well, it doesn't say whatever you ask is granted unless it's in your divine plan. It literally says whatever you ask is granted. It's a present moment creative story that you are creating. And so I firmly believe that we are creating our life and choosing to come here. We choose a potential life to go in and experience. That doesn't mean we everything is fated or destined. It just means that we've chosen a pathway like we do every day. People choose their career, and they go into their career, and they do this. Now, a lot of people will say, well, it was definitely destined because this, and this happened. Well, that's looking back at a life and giving meaning to things that happened. But in reality, if you look at it from the other perspective, those things happened because you chose to make choices that took you to those places that made those things happen. It's the same thing with the concept of death as well. See, the problem that most people live is that we create this idea of fearing death. In Shakespeare, to be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing in them. That whole speech is about not going to death because we're afraid of what's happening afterwards. That whole speech he's talking about committing suicide, but he's talking about committing suicide with the concept of the only reason we don't is because something might happen that might be bad afterwards. What dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There is the calamity of so long life, right? So we have that idea that we can't take this step to go over to the other side. And that idea is a very interesting process because in my life, I've been able to witness people who've told me they were dying, who've told me, my father, a year before he died, told me, I'm not going to make next Christmas. And though he did make his life, he lived past Christmas, he didn't make it back to Delaware for Christmas that year. And he died. My ex-wife's grandmother, she said to me one day, I asked her what the secret to long life was. She was 96 years old. She said, if I stop, I'll die. And that was her belief. Her belief of if she stopped, she'll die. In the last year of her life, she decided to get all of her chores done. She had a very specific way of living. She would get up in the morning, she would make her cup of coffee, drink her little Syrian toast, because she was from Syria, and have her cup of coffee. And while she ate her toast, she would make a list of her daily chores. And she would do her chores all day long, all day long doing something, cleaning the house, fixing the things, dusting, whatever she had to do. She recorded her soap opera because she wasn't allowed to watch it during work hours. So she would record it, and then at 5 o'clock she would watch it. Well, the last year of her life, her chores became get the house ready for the kids, find out who wants what, make sure all the paperwork's done so it's an easy transition. And then eventually, she got all her chores done, and she moved out of her house and sat, and she died. She died within months. It was like, boom, gone, right? My mother told us she did not want to move north. But, she was 86 years old. She had a broken back, and she was living in Florida by herself. It was like, we can't uproot our lives and go down there to take care of her. We had to bring her up north. So she cleared out the house. She handed out all the stuff, and she died. Right. This this concept that we can choose death is we're choosing every moment of our lives. And in choosing every moment of our lives, now we can choose it consciously, we can choose it unconsciously, subconsciously. We come from that place of realizing that we are creating our experience in every moment of our lives. Just the other day, I was just telling a story to somebody. There was a stain on my ceiling here in the studio, and I had a can of Kills primer so I could paint over the stain so I could paint it. And I was in here painting it, and I looked down and I saw my brand new black banded collar shirt sitting on there on the table. And I said, oh, I'm going to get paint on that. And within 10 seconds, a spot of paint came off of my brush, flew across the room, and landed right on my black shirt. I'm going to get paint on that. I'm is God's nickname. I am, whatever you ask in God's name is granted. I'm going to get paint on that is actually a creation. And so it happened. And when I saw it happen, I was like, I knew exactly what I had done. I knew exactly I created the paint on it. The mere thought that I created it. The idea of choosing our death is the same way. We can choose it very consciously, or we can choose things that will lead us to a death, or we can decide that we are dying. There are many times in the hospitals people are dying, and people are like, I don't know why they're dying. The doctors will say, I don't know why they're dying. And the tough part about this whole thing is the concept of death, the idea of death. When we start looking at death itself, we start looking at this unknown. Well, the Bible says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Shadow of death, the illusion of death. Life is eternal, but when we choose the moment, we leave this illusion of death, this shadow of death, and we choose it, like I say, either consciously or unconsciously. But we choose everything that happens in our life. We choose every experience we have in life, and sometimes it's unintentional choice. It's just we start to believe something. And when we start to believe something, we start to create something. When we start to create something, we start to experience something. And so that's the way the process of creation works. And when you look at it from the perspective of how do you go to the next level of your own life, is to realize that you are creating your experience, including the way you go, and including the way you go. And it comes down to you stepping into your power in life. Bring the kingdom of heaven and earth. Choose to create loving life here. And then death isn't really a concern because now you're living this pure love here, right? But do we choose our death? We do, either consciously or unconsciously. And it will come when we choose to let go. How many times do you hear in hospice where everyone's in the room for grandma, she dies, and it's the one moment they all leave the room that grandma dies? Because that was the moment grandma chose, right? That was the moment that grandma chose. And it really comes down to us realizing that we have free will in all things. But sometimes our free will is being run by our subconscious. It really is about getting very present, very fearless, and choosing to create our lives consciously. And understand that we can live a joyful, happy, healthy life if we consciously choose it and live it. Be the change you want to see in the world. And it's the same thing with death. Have the easy, beautiful crossing over experience. Because the word death has such power to it. It's not an end. It's an end of a physical illusion experience. It's the end of your life movie. But you go on. You're still in the theater of God. And the next movie can start to play at any minute. So that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day. And remember, if you guys enjoy these videos, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. And I will talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.